Morning everyone. So today I am doing a big batch coffee and tea dyeing session, and I said that I would video it. So here goes. I have bought some really cheap coffee. I don't drink it, so it's just the cheapest brand in the supermarket. I've put a really 3-4 tablespoons full maybe in there, a little bit more, so I want a really deep colour. I've just boiled the kettle so you didn't have to hear it, and I'm going to put some boiling water on there and give it a whisk round. This, in the bowl, I am doing the fabric in. I've got a job lot of fabric that I want to dye. I'm just going to put some cooler water in there as well once the coffee has dissolved. Just grab a whisk. I'm going to do a coffee and tea mix. I just like the colours you get from it, and when the tea bag's sat on some of the fabric you get a really nice pattern on it of concentrated dye. So that's the coffee mixed in. While it's still boiling water, I'm going to add my tea bags. I am putting in how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I'm putting 14 in. I'm just going to give them a little swoosh round. And the longer they're in the water, the more concentrated they'll get. So to that, I'm just going to add some warm water from the sink. And then I'm going to start adding some fabric. Okay, I have got here, let me just push that to one side and I'll show you. Here I have got all sorts that I want to dye. So this is some grey bedsheet that I have torn into strips. And my plan with this is to dye it, and then I'm going to use stamps on it in strips that I can just cut a piece off then when I want it. I've left all the threads on because once it's dyed and dried, I will remove all these threads and put them into my little thread stash for my paper clips. So let's just blob that into the bowl. Whisk, and I'm going to just push it down. I'll probably have to add, I've not done grey sheet before, I always use a cream or a white, so I've just had this one, so we'll see how this one turns out. No idea. This is a skirt that I bought from the charity shop. I've already had bits off it, but I'm going to dye the rest of it so that can go in. It looks really dark in there, but it does dry slightly lighter, but I don't care what colour it comes out, I just love it. Here I've got a little tablecloth, which I think, oh, it's not, what is it? No, it's just some lacy trim that has hearts on it, which I think is absolutely adorable. So I'm going to dye, in fact I'm going to cut that in half, and I'm going to dye half of it, not all of it. Grab my scissors. I may do some of that in a different colour at some point. Just snip that up there so we don't cut the hearts. Okay, and we'll pop that in there. We'll save that bit to do a different colour. This is a top that I bought from the charity shop again for cutting up. That I'm going to dye. Bits of lace, an old bit of net curtain that I have. That can go in. And then this is just some binding that I have that can go in as well. So I'm definitely going to have to add more water to this. Let me just fill my jug again. I'm going to leave this in here for the time it takes me to dye my papers, which I'm doing as well. So I'm just going to give that a turn around. Push it down. And that is still really hot, burning my fingers. Now the tea bags, let's see if I can find a couple of tea bags, and I'm going to dot them about, because as they soak onto the fabric, they leave really dark stains on them. Let's put one in. I've finished one of these sessions. I look like I've been using self-tan. My hands are orange. There we go. Right. What I will also do, I think I burst a tea bag there. I have. Just put my finger through it. I will save these tea bags. I'm just going to take that one out because otherwise everything's going to be covered in bits. I save these tea bags, dry them out, and then I can use the actual paper of the tea bag. And what I'm also going to do is sprinkle just a tad of coffee granules on the top there, and that gives a really nice effect as well. You can see that. You can see that already. They're starting to bleed into the fabric. Give it some spots. Right, so that is going to sit in there while I do the papers. What I will do, I'll probably give it about 10 minutes and then I'll turn it all over again, so it really gets soaked in the dark water as well. Okay, right, we'll move on now and do some of the papers. Okay, so I'm now set up over this side to do my papers. So in here I just have a roasting tin, and in there I am going to put in some boiled water. And then I'm going to add my coffee. I'm going to use quite a lot of coffee because it is quite dark. I've set my oven on 150 Celsius, that's on a fan oven. I just like to dry mine in the oven. I like the patterns I get off. These are just cooling trays that I use. I'm going to use a wooden spoon because that is so noisy. Right, I'm just going to mix that until the coffee has all dissolved. Now the paper absorbs, the water absorbs into the paper much quicker when it's hot. When it's cooler, it doesn't absorb in as quickly, I've found. I'm doing a mixture of all sorts of papers today. I've got some envelopes that I'm doing, just some copy paper, what else have I got? Watercolour paper. I think I've got blotting paper. I thought I'd try that because I've not used that before. Now we'll see how that is. If I need some more, I will add a little more coffee to it. So I'm also going to spray some of my papers. Once they've been coffee dyed and they're on the rack, I'm going to spray them with some of the sprays that I made up with acrylic paint and just see how they turn out as well. So I think what I will do, I'm going to start out with just some regular copy paper. Always have everything ready to go there. So let me just grab some regular copy paper so we can see what colour we're going to get from it. I do mine a sheet at a time, I don't do it in bulk. It's really hot. Okay, so that is quite dark. I lay it on here, hence all the kitchen towels out. They make such a mess. And this is an old oven. We're having our kitchen done, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do this once we have our new oven. And then what I do, I put the racks into the oven. You can put them straight on the oven shelf. But I tend to do about 3 sheets to a rack. That's quite a dark colour, that's nice. Now while my paper's wet, I'm just going to give it a little spritz with some of red shimmer. So coffee absolutely everywhere. And I've also made up some food colour paste in some water in red. And I'm just going to put some splotches on. These are how I get the colours. So I'm wanting some reds for the next journal that I'm making. Okay, and then I'm going to pop these into the oven. I'll just pop them in on the rack. I use an old tea towel to mop everything up with as I'm going. There we go. Okay. You can do these in bundles, but I don't, because you tend to get white patches on, and I don't want white patches on my paper. I want them fully covered. Okay. You just don't know how they're going to turn out when they're dry. That's what I like about doing this. You get so many different. I've got a shimmer here that's got some gold in it. Let's just see how. Let's get some squirts of that and see how it turns out. It's going to block now. Pour a little bit of boiling water over it and it frees it up. I think it's the shimmer that's in it blocks the spray. There we go. So, and I've got a black here, and I might just do a little bit of, to see how that comes out. Okay, now I've been asked how long it takes in the oven for your papers to dry. It really depends how wet they are. I'd say 2 or 3 minutes, but just keep checking. That's the best way, I think. Just keep checking. Just open, and if they're almost dry, you can always pick them up to give them a turn. Just gonna move that around a bit. Okay, they're starting to dry on the edges, and when you stack them you'll get the marks from the papers underneath, which is, again, I think looks great. You just never know how these are going to turn out, and that's why I like doing them in the oven. It darkens them as well. They're starting to dry on the edges. I'll just take this out and show you. So now I'm just going to pull them apart and put them on again separately. Carefully pull them out and put them back in. Same with this layer. I'm just going to separate them now. They're almost drying. It's just the middles that aren't quite there yet. Now my red has turned really pink in the drying process. So make some space on the. What I do, I make them all up, and then once they're all made up, I will iron them all. So I have a whole session, so you've got then your papers ready to go. Make some space on the unit. They're almost done. So then this next lot will go in, and I will start my next papers. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a job lot of them, and then I will come back, probably do a part 2 of what they all look like once they're dry. I've shown you the process of how I do them, and then I'll iron them all up, and I will go through all the papers that I have dyed today and show you how they've turned out. Okay, bye.